Morning. Back Secretariat, back Technical Working Group, prospective bidders, and of course to all our viewers via YouTube Live. Today is February 15, 2024. We will conduct a private conference for civil works with project contract ID number 24DD0112 to 24DD0121 and goods and services 2001 to 24GD0002. May I request our back secretariat member, secretariat head, Engineer Christine A. Lolhati, for the roll call of attendance.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good morning po. Engineer Juan J. Pangaliban, our back chairperson. Engineer Evan B. Gonzalez, back member. Engineer Rosario, Procurement. Mr. Rodel Arvin, Provisional Goods and Services. Our back secretariat, yours truly, Engineer Christine Lolhati. Miss Maria, Miss Arlene O. Mantuano, and Miss Raquel C. Mercado. UG Architect Virgilio Aposa Jr. And we acknowledge the Sir Benalias Machas. You're so early. Good morning. And the private conference, we invited our observer from Commission on Audit. We have Mr. Romeo Maxino. Good morning, sir. Leaders, we have Mr. Chaderico Sena from Good morning, sir. In attendance, we have Goro. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Lolhati, and once again, good morning. Before we proceed to our agenda, let me the purpose of this conference. Under Section 22.3 of the 26 Implementing Rules and Regulations of Republic Act 9184, it states that among other things, the engineering and technical components of the contract is to avoid all minimizing documents during the evaluation of the bid. The BAC is expecting the documents to be submitted during the bidding will follow or comply with the procedure prescribed going discussed here today. The conference provides clear guidelines and avenue for clarification to enhance efficient and effective process. The topic discussion will be for as follows: the representation of the contract data, letter B, letter C, criteria for eligibility screening preliminary last. So the questions or comments from the prospective bidders will be entertained after all the topics have been presented. Kindly reserve all your questions We will have time for the open forum for all your questions and queries. For the brief, call on our planning engineer, distribution level of
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the presentation of basic contract data. For contract ID number 24DD012 to 24DD0121, the implementing office is the construction section. For contract ID number 20DD0112, Convergence and Special Construction BI road, the national road, leading to major buildings. It is construction of Sandalan-Balanga road leading to Catandala, Ibaan, Batangas. Scope of works, construct 2,415 road with width of 6.7 meters and thickness of 0.3 meters on 0.20 meter thick Portland cement road mixed base course using 910 mm RCPC. Approved for the million source of fund 0110101 SR 2024-01-001292. Contract duration 180 days. Size range medium A. License involved in contract to be paid. RCP roads construction PCCP. For similar resource, RRP roads rehabilitation PCCP. Road construction tunnel PCCP. Major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24D113, Convergence and Special major strategic public buildings, construction of road, Banaybanay 1 and Banaybanay 2, San Jose, Batangas. Scope of works, construction of 1,081 linear meter road with width of 4 meters. Approved budget for the contract, 14,850,000 pesos. Operations Act, contract duration 88 calendar days, size range small B, license category D and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, CP roads construction PCCP. For the similar categories of works, RRP roads rehabilitation PCCP, RCTP roads construction tunnel PCCP. For minimum major number 24DD0114, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program BIP, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of road, Sitio Taywanak-Sitio, Santuris, Barangay Calantas, Rosario, Batangas. Scope of works for Sitio Taywanak, construction of 4 meters and thickness of 6.2 meters. For Sitio Santuris, construction of 347 linear meter road with width of 4 meters, 0.2 meters. Approved budget for the contract, 9,900,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Transaction 54 days. Size range small B, license B, C. For the major category of works involved with the contract to be bid, RCP roads construction PCCP. For similar categories of works: RRP, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, RCTP, roads, construction, tunnel, PCCP. For the minimum major equipment requirements are for truck ID number 24DD0115, program BIP, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support social services, construction of multipurpose facilities, Barangay Don Luis, San Jose, Batangas. Scope of works: construction, completion of two-story multipurpose building, 8.2 meters by 13.5 meters, including architectural works, finishing works, electrical works, and air conditioning. Approval $1,900,000 pesos. Source of funds: FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration 90 calendar days. Size range small b. License category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid: BIC, WO, PLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar following. The minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0116, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, CPAL, Access Roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of road and South District in Pacific, Batangas. Scope width of 3 meters from Calantas, construction of 145 linear meter roads with width of 3 meters and thickness of 0.2 meters. For Barangay San Guillermo, for Section 1, construction of 36 linear meter road with width of 3 meters and thickness of 0.2 meter, including 3 linear meters and 26.2 linear meter grouted riprap, and 4 linear meter, 610 millimeter diameter RCPC drainage. For Barangay San Guillermo, Section 2, construction of linear meter road with width of 3 meters and thickness of 0.2 meter. Approved budget for the contract, 6,860,000 pesos. Source of funds: FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration 64 calendar days. Size range small b. License C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid: RCP, roads, construction, PCCP. For the following similar categories of works: RRP, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, RCTP, roads, construction, tunnel, PCCP. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID numbers 24DD117, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Access Roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic buildings, facilities, construction of road, Barangay Puting Kahoy, Rosario, Batangas. Scope of work: Section 1, construction of 312.4 linear meter, 4.2 meter. Construction of 24.6 linear meter road with width of 5 meters and thickness of 0 meter. Approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000 pesos. Source of funds: for General Appropriations Act. Contract duration 34 calendar days. Small category report on similar categories of works: RRP, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, RCTP, roads, construction, tunnel, PCCP. Our minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0118, Convergence and Special Program, VIP, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to main links, road via Batangas. Scope of works: construction of 258.7 linear meter and 22 linear meter roads, width of 5 meters and 3 meters respectively, and thickness of 0.2 including $1,950,000 pesos. Source of funds: FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration 40 calendar days. Size range small b. License category C and D. For the major category of works involved with RCP, roads, construction, PCCP. Similar RRP, roads, major requirements are the following. Contract either 20119, Convergence Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Purpose Building is to support social services, construction multi-purpose building, Batangas. Including structural works, electrical works, and air conditioning unit. The budget for the contract, 150,000 pesos. Source of fund, General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 150 calendar days. Size small b. Low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. Categories of works are the following. For minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract number 24DD0120, Convergence and Special Support Program, basic structure be multi-purpose building, multi-purpose building Barangay City, Batangas. Scope of works: construction of multi-purpose building, 8.05 meters by 10.5 meters, and facilities including field works, electrical works, and mechanical works. Budget for the contract: $4,950,000. General contract duration 9 calendar days. Size range small, license C and D. For the major categories of works involved in the contract to be bid: BIC, WOPNC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise crane, 1 to 5 story. For similar categories of works are the following. Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, construction of road, Barangay Bulihan, Rosario, Batangas. Scope of works: construction of 3 meter road with width of score thickness of 4,950,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act, contract duration 34 calendar days, size range small b, license category C and D. For the major category works involved in the contract to be bid, RCP, roads, construction, PCCP. For the similar categories of works, RRP, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, RCP, construction. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. Minimum for medium contractors for contract I number 24DB0112 are the following. For minimum material testing equipment for small contractors for contract ID number D0113 to 24DB0121 are the following. Manpower requirements for contract ID number 2 requirements for contract ID numbers 24DB0113, 24DB are the following. Manpower requirements, accredited safety officer required upon issuance of notice award, subject to DEO 98 series of 2014, submission of construction safety and health program, approved by the Department of Labor and Employment. For additional requirements, the officer assigned requirements of safety officer 3 with additional 48 hours of advanced specialized occupational safety training course relevant to the industry as prescribed in the Republic Act number 1182 DO198 series of 2018 of DOLE. First aider with certificate of training issued by Red Cross in compliance to DOLE request for DO98. Should meet the following number of years work experience. 1. The experience means total years of civil works experience of any nature in construction and engineering consultancy services. 2. Include the tax identification number of the key personnel. Compliance to DO98 series of 2016, revised guidelines on the accreditation of contractors, consultants, and materials engineers. 3. Include the contact number of the materials. For contract ID number 24GDB0001, purchase of 38 kVA and 58 kVA generator. Implementing Office, Batangas District Engineering Office, ABC, 3,476,000. Delivery schedule, 60 calendar days. Brief description of this 38 kVA and 58 DD0002 supply and delivery of goods and semi-expense to be used as DPO. Implementing Office, DPWH District Engineering Office, ABC, 1,100,840 pesos. Brief description of goods to be purchased, supply and delivery of consumables. Thank you.
Ginelaw was for the brief presentation of contract data. And now, may I request Engineer Christine Walhati to further explain the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of the contract to be.
Checklist for the preliminary examination of technical and financial proposal. Shown is the checklist of the technical proposal. For Class A documents, legal documents valid field registration certificate must be platinum membership. And under Section 8 of 36 and revised IRR, the bidder shall upload and maintain and field the current and updated file as eligibility documents under Section 20.1A and 24.1A. Next is registration certificate for securities and exchange commission or cooperative development authority cooperative. There is ordinance for exclusive economic zones or areas. Further, the official receipt proof that the prescribed in the concerned local government unit in accordance with Section 8.5 by 16 revised. Next is tax clearance for year number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. Technical documents. First is the statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Next is the bidder's contract or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid except under condition rules. Next, valid Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board or PCAB license or a special PCAB license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. Next is original copy of bid security in the form of short bond. Submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. For project requirements, which should for the following. First bid. Next, duly signed list of contractors, key personnel. The example given is project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, construction safety officer, and foreman to be assigned to the contract with their complete qualification and experience date. This personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set in the DDS. Duly signed list of contractors, major construction, and laboratory equipment units to be used for the old lease and under purchase agreement. Certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project. The equipment units must meet the minimum major equipment requirements for the contract set in the units. Next, original duly signed notarized omnibus sworn statement in accordance 25.3 of 2016 revised IRR. And for financial documents, the prospective bidders audited financial statements showing among others the prospective bidders' total and current assets and liabilities for the BIR for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And for Class B documents, if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement or JVA in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective PhilJab certificate of registration in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of the revised IRR. The submission of the technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partner responsible to the submission of the NFPC shall likewise submit the statement of all its ongoing and audited financial statements. The bidding forms for technical documents. Please be a reminder for the prospective bidder that the bidder shall use the following. The bidding forms. The bidder may also download these forms from DPWH website. The bidder may also obtain from Procurement of part of the purposes of determining the eligibility of bidders using this criteria stated in Section 20.4, 2016 revised IRR. Only the following documents shall be required by the bank using the forms prescribed in the bidding documents. Bidding documents with the prescribed forms shall be considered as compliant. Bid securing shows the bid securing declaration, the contractor's organizational chart, the list of contractors' key personnel's affidavit, financial proposal. The financial proposal shall be composed of the following. First, the original duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Next, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities. Next is duly accomplished a detailed estimates form including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in the bid, and last is cash flow by quarter. The bidding forms for financial documents. Next is a sample of summary of bid prices. Next is bill of quantities. And last is cash flow by quarter. And for goods and services projects, proposed to be composed of the following for Class A document. It must be certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC, or TTI for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority or CDA for cooperatives or its equivalent document. Next is the mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is the equivalent document for inclusive economic zones or areas. Next is tax clearance per EO number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Internal Review or DEO. Technical documents, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in the nature and complexity to the contract review. Next is statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract or SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under condition provided under the rules. Next is original copy of bid security form of surety bond, submit also a certification in authorized bid securing declaration. Next is conformity with specifications, which may include production, manpower requirements, and if applicable. Next, original, duly signed and notarized only if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of corporation or partnership or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the its officer to sign the OSS and to act to represent the bidder. And for financial documents, the supplier's audited financial statements showing among others the prospective bidder current assets and liabilities. Or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. The prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity or NFCC or committed line or of credit for Class B documents is a duly signed joint venture agreement or JVA in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IR or duly notarized statement for all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into the project. Shown is the schedule of requirements and technical specifications schedule of requirements and technical specifications for 24 G. In the bidding forms for technical documents, ongoing acts, the list of single largest completed projects, the during declaration, the omnibus sworn statement, shown is the checklist of financial proposal, followed this side, and accomplished price schedules. The bidding forms for financial documents, form, and the price schedule for goods offered. For purchase and submission of bids, a complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by the interested bidders until February 27, 2024. The cut-off time is 9:15 a.m. A bidder must have an approved appointment with specifics of non-appearance. For the bid of any intended for purchasing bidding documents will be limited to 10 bidders only. To strictly follow the bid opening schedule. Secure the approved appointment to DPWH Batangas for appointment at gmail.com. Bid submitted manually must be received by the Bank Secretariat at Bidding Room, DPWH Batangas for District Engineering Office, Marao, February 27, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. For electronic bid submission for civil works projects only, it must be sent at electronicbids_Batangas4@dpwh.gov.ph on or before February 27, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. The procedure should be observed the following Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020. It is also indicated in the bid data sheet. Representatives who will submit their bids must be duly authorized and registered liaison officer as reflected in the CRC for civil works projects, and author required to present their company ID and one government issued ID for verification purposes. Thank you. I acknowledge also the presence of our representative from end user, Engineer Alex Lianes from maintenance. Thank you.
And now, the explanation of criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, and post-qualification will be presented by Architect Virgilio Apusa, our technical working group member.
Thank you po, boss. Explanation of preliminary examination for civil work project. Preliminary examination of bids, technical proposal. The purpose of this examination is solely to determine the presence or absence of each of the required documents comprising the bid as stated in section 3.5.2 using a simple non-discretionary pass if present or paid if absent criterion with the aid of checklist. The BAC shall first open and undertake the preliminary examination of the envelope shall determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the technical component. If the required document is present, the technical component shall be rated as passed for that particular requirement. On the other hand, if the required document is absent, for example, missing or incomplete or patently insufficient, the technical component shall be rated as failed for that particular requirement. The BAC shall rate the technical component as failed and immediately return to the bidder concerned its second envelope financial component unopened. Preliminary examination of bid for technical proposal. Receipt of the scanned copies of the first bid envelope with required revised RR, which are for online or electronic bid submission, shall be considered as compliant with the requirement of the said bid submission, subject to submission of the original copies of the following. Number 1, bid security declaration or other forms of bid security excluding cash, and 2, the omnibus sworn statement. This form shall be submitted by the bidder to and duly by the BAC concerned during the post-qual stage. Period render the bid submission as non-compliant and shall disqualification of the bid. After the eligibility screening, after the preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids, the BAC, assisted by its BAC, shall conduct the eligibility check of each bid. Documentary technical components of the bids. The BAC shall determine if the bidder is eligible to bid for the contract being procured. CWA. The CWA program will definitely process and match the bidder's capability and eligibility data in the WA. Example, SLCC for major similar category of work and actual NFCC against the eligibility requirements for the contract derived from the CP earlier entered into the CWA, section 4.8.2, required SLCC costing at least 50% AB. And the computer program will automatically determine if the bidder meets the following eligibility. The cost of the bidder's SLCC is at least 50% of the ABC of the project to be procured. And B, the bidder's NFCC is at least equal to ABC of the project to be procured. However, the contractor shall, under small B category without similar experience of the contract to be bid, may allowed to bid based on the guidelines of financial proposal of each past bidder and shall evaluate it using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The box shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceed the ABC. Receipt of the scanned copies of the second bid envelope with the required price schedules or other forms prescribed in 2016 revised RRR for electronic or online bid submission shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission. The BAC will immediately complete evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria, considering the following: A. Completeness of the bid. Unless the instructions of two bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not as addressing or providing all of the where applicable, bill of quantities shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive, but specifying a zero or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. And consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended of the item, the latter shall prevail. Stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component item, the latter shall prevail. And unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill quantities, the latter shall prevail. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modification to identify the lowest calculated bid. And corrected for computational errors and other bid modification which exceed the ABC shall be disqualified. Post-qualification. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all requirements and specified in the bidding documents. Within 5 calendar days from the receipt by the bidders of the notice from the BAC that the bidder has the lowest calculated bidders and permits required by the law and is stated in the bidding document. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award, provided that in the event that a finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of this IRR. The post-qualification veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the PhilJet certification of registration and membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of this IRR and all the other statements made and documents submitted by the bidders was calculated bid using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. This criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following: the requirements to verify certificates, permits and agreements submitted and that is as provided in section 25.3 of 2016 revised RRR, and technical requirements, verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project for the procurement of infrastructure project and consulting services. Verification and availability and commitment, and or inspection and testing for the required operating conditions of equipment unit to be owned, leased, under purchase by the bidder for the use in the contract under bidding, as well as checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contract. If any of these ongoing contract shows a negative slippage of at least 15% in any one of the project, or a negative slippage of at least 10% in each of the two or more contracts. B. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works ongoing within 30 days, to complete them within 30 calendar days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. C. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contract with pending certificate of acceptance within 30 calendar days and complete them within 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. Or D. Substandard quality of work as per contract plan and specification, or unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligation as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. And lastly, DEO number 127 of 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the contract of the post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. If the above verifies any of these deficiency to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the infrastructure projects. Financial requirements: to verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price proposal of the bidder, and whenever applicable, the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the BAC determines that the bidder with the lowest calculated bid passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as the lowest calculated responsive bid, or LCRB. Goods and services. Preliminary examination of bids. The BAC shall conduct the preliminary examination of the bids. The purpose of this examination is solely to determine the presence or absence of each of the required documents comprising the bid as stated as section 3.5.2, using a simple non-discretionary pass if present or fail if absent criterion with the aid of checklist. The BAC shall first open and undertake the preliminary examination of the envelopes containing the technical components of the bids. The BAC shall determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the technical components. If the required documents is present, the component shall be rated as pass for that particular requirements. On the other hand, if the required documents is absent, or example, missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient, the technical component shall be rated as failed for the particular requirement. The BAC shall rate the technical component as failed and immediately return to the bidder concerned its second envelope financial component unopened. Immediately after determining compliance with the requirement in the first envelope, the BAC shall open the financial components of the bid of each eligible bidders whose first bid envelope was needed passed. For bid evaluation, the BAC will immediately conduct detailed evaluation of all bids using non-discretionary criteria considering the following: A. Completeness of the bid, unless the instructions to bidders shall specifically allow partial bids not addressing or providing all of the requirements item in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantity shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive, but specifying as 0 or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. And B, arithmetical correction. Consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modification if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. For cost qualification, verification, and validation and ascertainment of all statements made and documents submitted. Legal requirements, licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements, and inclusion in any blacklist. Tax clearance, business permits, DPI registration, certificate, including authority of signing official and PhilJEPS registration certificate. For financial requirements, the required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents or the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. For technical requirements, verification and or inspection and testing of the goods, products, after sales and or maintenance capabilities in applicable cases, as well as checking the following. A. Delay in the partial delivery of goods amounting to 10% of the contract price in its ongoing government and private contracts. And B. If any of these contracts shows the bidder's failure to deliver or perform any or all the goods and or services within the period specified in the contract or within any extension thereof granted by the procuring entity pursuant to a request made by the supplier prior to the delay, and such failure amounts to the at least 10% of the contract price, or unsatisfactory performance of the supplier's obligation as per contract terms and condition at the time of inspection. If the BAC verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the bidder's fault or negligence, the BAC shall disqualify the bidder from the award for the procurements of goods.
Thank you, Engineer Architect Acosta. And now for the award of contract. The contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid, LCRB, as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award shall be made within the bid validity period. In accordance with Department Order Number 11, Series of 2021 and Republic Act 9184 and its implementing rules and regulation under Section 37.1.4, the NOAA shall require the bidder with the LCRB to submit to the procuring entity within 10 calendar days from the bidder's receipt of NOAA the following documents as condition for the signing of the contract. Letter A, notice of award, NOAA with bidder signed conform. Letter B, authority of signing official or board resolution or secretary's certificate. Letter C, a joint venture or JV contractors, pickup, special JV license and JV agreement. Letter D, performance security in accordance with Section 39 of revised implementing rules and regulations. Letter E, construction method using DPWH INFR Form 45. Letter F, construction schedule in the form of precedence diagram and bar chart with S-card or other approved tools of project scheduling and cash flow. DPWH Form INFR-46. Letter G, manpower schedule using DPWH Form INFR-47. Letter H, equipment utilization schedule using DPWH INFR Form -48. Letter I, construction safety and health program using DPWH Form
INFR-49, initially approved by DOLE. Letter J, all contractors, all risk, insurance or CARE. Letter K, latest income tax and business return duly stamped and received by BIR and duly validated with the tax payment made. Tax clearance from BIR to prove full and timely payment of the taxes. And letter L, for a local contractor, certificate under oath stating that the contractor is free and clean from all tax liabilities. Performance security. Under Section 39.3, performance security shall remain valid until issuance of procuring entity of the Certificate of Final Acceptance. 39.4, performance security may be released to the procuring entity after the issuance of the Certificate of Final Acceptance, subject to the following condition. Letter A, procuring entity has no claims filed against the contract awardee or the surety company. Letter B, it has no claims for labor and materials filed against the contractor. And letter C, other terms of the contract under Section 39.5. For the procurement of the infrastructure project, the winning bidder shall post an additional performance security following the schedule above to cover any cumulative increase of more than 10% over the original value of the contract as a result of amendments to order or change order, extra work orders, and supplemental agreements as the case may be. Winning bidder shall cause the extension of the validity of performance security to cover approved contract time extensions. Contractors all risk insurance or CARE as per Department Order 172 Series of 1994. Additional premiums shall only be paid in cases where contract time is extended due to additional works or where project cost is increased for similar reason without necessarily extending the contract time. Any additional works shall be insured upon approval of the applicable variation order, change order, extra work order, supplemental agreement in the full value of the approved additional work. Any supplemental bid bulletin issued by BAC shall be posted on the PILGEPS and the website of the procuring entity concerned if available. Other matters. For other matters, just a reminder to our prospective bidders, all bidding documents shall be printed in A4 size bond paper, properly paginated with its content appropriately written. All attached replicated documents shall be certified through copies and all are duly signed by prospective bidders. Let's go to the open forum. So we will proceed for the comments and queries from our prospective bidders, viewers, attendees. So open forum is now. Forum is now open for your questions and comments. Any comments, queries from our leaders?
Please state your name,
Good morning po.
Kindly use the microphone.
Good morning po, Chairman. Good morning po sa lahat. Tudorico Sena po ng The Legacy Trucks and Tractors. We are intent to participate po sa GenSet. Bali, doon po sa katanong, yung mga questions ko po is yung nakalagay po doon is 38 kVA and 58 kVA. Pwede po ba kaming mas tumas?
May I request our representative, Engineer Alex Leanes and Engineer Evan Gonzalez to address the queries that was given by our prospective leaders.
Good morning po. Yung regarding po sa specifications, yun naman po ating text specs po is minimum. So, pwede naman po tayong tumas doon.
Sorry.
Sobrang laki.
Basta yung
without mention.
always out doon sa
Ang size na yun.
Bali doon po sa, sir, wala po kasi naka-specify ilan ng, para sa 38 kVA, ilan po yung naka-kVA. Tig-isa lang po ba, sir?
Anong tanggal?
Kung tig-ilan po yung
Unit. Ay, sa unit pa yun.
tig-isa lang. Tapos, sir, standby power po ba, sir? Yung 38.
Continuous sir.
Or prime power?
Standby sa lang niya.
Standby. Ito, sir, para may reference po. Hindi ko na rin. Okay lang po ba ipakita niyo? Para may reference.
Hindi, yan may attach mo pa rin doon sa iyong papasangan eh. Proposal.
Para makita lang po na papasok mo. Tapos, sasamahan po ba siya ng automatic?
Ang ating generator.
Then, kung three-phase po ba siya single-phase?
May nakalagay dun sir, single at saka 3-piece. Pero mas okay kung convertible po.
may add, kindly review the specification of the genset that we are going to kasi ito na naman sa other specification.
Hindi ko lang po siguro na-open, sir. Pero open pa rin po mamaya.
Tapos, for your clarification, yung binigay mong brochure, hindi kami magko-comment.
Apo.
Tinanggap lang, pero hindi kami magko-comment.
Okay po. Yun lang, sir. Naklaro naman po lahat.
Question?
Wala na po. So, paano po opening po?
Any other question, clarification? To our viewers, to our back members, to our technical working group. So, po, everything is clear. I hereby adjourn the conference at exactly 10:22 in the morning. Thank you everyone for coming. Balik ka tayo po.